Hello, this is going to be my portfolio. This is the first part, my introduction. I'm going to be presenting about 9 different achievements that I have believed that to be, like my best. And I will explain them after I present it to you using, the four major categories that you have given us: collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, and communication. So like after each one, I will just give a little summary of why I think it's this. So right, let's begin with the first one. All right, so the first one is a textbook, just a simple kind of critical thinking achievement where here I have the I only have one like bad one and very good great ones. And I think that also the bad one, just the minor like C level answer shows how I've tried to progress from time to time, and even from time to time there are times when you can fall, but when you fall, you pick yourself back up and you continue to do what the best thing. And I remember I think I got like a 97 on that test, so this is like very core foundation of what is to come for like my future achievements. So yeah. So this one is actually a understand, and what I think this one really shows is collaboration. I remember sharing my thoughts and my this is it's a summary, so we all had to just pitch in key ideas from the chapter during this time. And I remember my group, we all pitched in a couple of things here and there, and it was a very basic summary, but just the fact that we can get these basic things down with my group, with the collaboration and everything, really helps in the long run. And here, they help out with more civil things compared to like the prime minister who may do world affairs or the such. Here, we have priests and deacons who do civil things as well. Daily mass, all that. And the governor has his own helpers as well, whether it's just like so that was my first understand. It was just a little snippet of my ED creations that I pulled up on the computer, and here it shows again I think critical thinking, also a lot of connections I did there. I put like this on one side, how the priests and the deacons and the the priesthood, the ministerial priesthood, how they all can relate to a world thing that we can also have communicated with, and we know about more like with history. So I've said with you can see like in the top there was the priests, or in the top there was Jesus, and I was relating it to the king, and then all the way down to us with the laity, and it's just us, or like the people, the common people in the kingdom. So there's just like little connections here and there, and I like the creativity that I had in that video, with me relating it from a common thing that we know in history and to what the church has given us. So yeah, I kind of liked it. It was interesting. So this is my second understand, and here I like the communication that I have, especially at the end, what I can learn to do with God, whether it be family or single. My calling for God, with the the communication of telling in that small little prompt what I think of Joseph and how he has his calling for God and how it applies to my life, and for my communication to whether it be classmates or other people. I think the communication is a very core, fundamental. Even just that small sentence, I just think it can speak big words. But yeah. We went there and we were leaving, about to leave, and some lady who was also praying there, she was also leaving, and so I opened the door for her. And it turns out that she wasn't leaving. She went to talk to me and said, "I can see you becoming a very good priest." And I was amazed. I was taken back. Yeah, I don't know if somebody else going up to me would be that sort of calling, but it was interesting. So So that video was a snippet of an apply. I actually like that apply a lot. I think it has a lot of creativity, a lot of collaboration, and critical thinking. The critical thinking comes later in the video. That's just a snippet of it. But what I liked about that one, what I especially liked about it was the collaboration, I guess, that I had in that video. I'd never shared that story with anybody. It's just something that I hadn't thought of, but I like to share it in theology. How it relates to the calling for our lives. It was really interesting, and that collaboration, just giving my little story to the theology as a class, or just me and Mr. Cole. It was pretty interesting. Is the grace of God, where we have fun, we are perfect, and we are united with Him, but then we fall down. As we fall down into sin, we are stuck and we cannot get back out. And the only person who can help us is somebody else. And because we are stuck, we can't get out. We've tried and tried, we've shoved and pushed, but we can't get out. And so the janitor is... What I can, draw from this one would be the creativity that I had, along with the communication that I had with you, Mr. Cole. I remember this was the pit example that you gave us, and you told us, make our own pit example. So this is what I had without my creativity going in there, where I explained, how we are stuck in this water slide of going down into sin, and only God can, or Jesus can help us get back into the communion with God. And I like that a lot. I remember just thought of it at the spot, and I was like, water park, and just recently been there. So yeah, it was like, my creative juices coming out into my own, special way of presenting the own pit example that you gave us. So this was an evaluate. We would evaluate the 10 plagues and how it signifies with God and the Egyptians, beginning of the school year. I remember having collaboration with this one and communication. I remember the collaboration was because someone had looked up, the gods during the Greek, the Egyptian era, and what they had represented for the Egyptians themselves. And I remember how we tied that to how God, destroys every single one of them through the plagues. I remember communicating with my partners, showing how, this is this, that is that. Oh, this is a god that, also was destroyed during this time. So it was cool that I remember specifically that instance with my partners in the collaboration/communication. So yeah. So this was a create. I used this to do this this new app where we can do this kind of comic book thing, and I never used it, so I decided to use it to do my create. And so here it is. We're just an example of how we need God for our salvation, for expiation for our sins, and I think it definitely shows the creativity that I had with just this recently new bought app, and it was cool to actually have this comic book sketch of why we need expiation for our sins. So I liked it. I liked doing it. I remember it was pretty hard to learn, but it was also pretty fun to experience. The key to open the lock to heaven, and then all those souls were here entered heaven, except for the bad people, or who had rejected God the moment they died. Because the moment you reject God, you are in that state forever. And that state will never change. So if you accept God, eternal happiness, you are forever with God forever. but if you reject it, you are in a state of rejection forever, therefore you are in hell. I like this video for its critical thinking that it had. I did like a 10-minute video that I go on to explain how Jesus opened the gates of heaven for us, and how it applies to the people, before Jesus died. Since the gates of heaven haven't been opened for them, how Jesus opens it up for them. Even throughout the rest of the video, ED Creations, I say why we had to believe in that Jesus had died and had resurrected, because if not, all our faith would be, false. So I really like that one for its critical thinking. That was my portfolio. I think the tally was like about 333 each. Maybe with, kind of one or two in a couple other videos, like maybe a critical thinking and a creativity in one video. But yeah, that's my portfolio. I believe it was a textbook: remember, a couple of understands, and apply, and analyze, and evaluate, and two creates. Just my portfolio, where my core great achievements have been. Thank you. If you want to see the rest of the ED Creations and completion, they are all right here with the links.